Hey guys, this is Isaac. Welcome back. It's been quite a while. Not to you, but to me. I've been playing this world a lot off camera. I'm going to go ahead and walk you through all the changes. Firstly, my entire collector array, including the relays, is now Mark III. So that's the highest level I'm going to get to. This production speed is the fastest that my relay will ever be, excluding pedestal speed boost. But again, I'll get to that at some point. And this is how fast it is. As you can see, it's kind of stupid. I have a lot of diamond. I have this much, which I'm just carrying around on me. See these are like blocks of iron, which aren't exactly cheap. And then I've made some other bags that I use just for storage. Like this one has a bunch of blocks of iron and a lot of other cheaper stuff. But the bigger changes are upstairs and outside. I've actually turned my mini-map off, you may notice, so I can kind of choose what order I reveal them in. Those are just sitting there. I use those to produce whatever I need. So I changed this storage area a little bit, reworked this into alchemical chests. Alchemical, okay. As you can see, diamonds just out the wazoo, some tungsten. I'm going to start not spending my tungsten. It's no longer worth it, and I want to collect it. These are lights, actually, white lamps and redstone torches to go with them, which I might not get to in this episode, but I will certainly explain in the next one. This chest is stocked with supplies for all the various machine making, like wires, redstone, glass fiber cables. I went ahead and made a stack of solar panels because I'm going to use solar power as the primary ingredient of my new house. Primary power ingredient. Don't look in the ravine. There's nothing interesting out there. I've also stocked all of these machines with a ton of overclocks. Every machine besides the compressor has 4. This one only has 2. That's enough. My energy grid cannot keep up with it, which is why all of these are running in spits and bursts, but that's fine. If I'd let it fill up, it would have been able to run freely, but whatever. It actually just got dark outside. I don't really want to sleep, so I will go show you the quarry at night. It's perfectly safe. Fly, fly. There we go. Oh, you saw something else. Trying to hide everything. Trying to hide everything. There's a lot to go through. Alright, so here's the quarry. It has finished digging. As you can see, it literally just dug, if you exclude all the chunks jumping in and out, it just dug all the way down. All these holes in the walls are where I went and knocked out ores. I missed some tin there, but who cares? Ooh, that is awesome. Glad I spotted that. Let's go ahead and grab us some gold. We're off to an excellent start. And gold. Perfect. Now, hopefully I can fly again or else I'm stuck. Okay. So this is the quarry. The quarry block itself is reusable, so if I move this somewhere else and hook the engines back up, I can use it again. And what I got from it, I went ahead and emptied out stuff like dirt and gravel and stone, like cobblestone, a couple of times throughout the process just to keep this chest mostly empty. And I did, at about the midway point, I took the gems out and spent them to buy some stuff. But other than that, this is what I ended up with. So, haven't actually looked at this recently. Bunch of those, some diamonds, 11 silver, stack of tin. Oh, there's more tin. Excellent. Yeah, 4 gold, 48 copper, over a stack of iron, over a stack of tin, 11 silver. Some cobble, or some redstone, sorry, some coal, a little bit of nickelite. As you can see, I hit an NPC mine down there, but I have no real need to explore one. And the other thing is I've been working on my house a lot. Not any of the more interesting things, but just like the walls mostly. So this is my palette, essentially. These are the colors that I'm going to be using. It's primarily a white castle. So here you have the machine block, which is the whitest of blocks, in my texture pack at least. Here you have just regular marble, which I won't be using very much, marble brick, which is the most castle-y of them, snow, iron blocks, which I like a lot, and wool. And then here you have the accents, which are red. You have red wool brick, and then this block is actually a ruby block. If you put 9 rubies in the crafting grid, it makes a ruby block. So they're a little bit more expensive than a diamond. They're honestly pretty cheap. So those are my accent colors. That's not the button at all. I'm actually going to go ahead and turn my mini-map back on. And now if you look up at the mini-map, you can kind of see the real extent of what I've been building. I'm just going to go ahead and go outside this wall and follow it around just to show you. now that I actually have mapped out the dimensions of my base to some degree, and I'll explain the farming complex, the storage complex, and the animals pins in a second. So we just have this wall that comes around here. All of this is subject to change, of course, but this is obviously a pretty big amount of work in the right direction. And I'm sorry that the chunks are so flickery. The recorder doesn't do that. Actually, that's I forget what the setting's called. One of the settings that I have. It makes it run a lot faster, though. Here you can see an area that I'm kind of started to finish, just to get your guys' reaction on what you think of the way it looks. I'm using iron blocks for the windows, and I am going to go ahead and put windows in it. I mean, as much as I want this to be a castle, I'm not actually defending against things, so it's fine if it's not, like, all that defensible. Come inside, and you can see I have this nice wood flooring. I'm not sure if I'm going to keep this second room, but for now I put it in. And then these are actually the white lamps, which, again, I'll get to how to make them soon. And the method of movement, primarily, is flight. So, like, you have this slot in the ceiling, which you fly up through. This tower is a lot of the way towards finished. Most of them are not. But the towers, all of them, I took down. All the white stone, essentially, is there in all the towers. That's not correct. That needs to be fully gone. Oh, wait, no, that is correct. Okay, that's how I built the stairs. Sorry. Oh, lag spike. Pretty bad one, too. Jeez. Aw. Okay, well, I'll be right back, guys. Hello, everyone. We're right back. Sorry about that interruption. As I was saying, the wood here is exclusive to this tower. I haven't done the rest like that yet, but all of them have the white sides leading down to a path into the stone. I haven't yet decided if the paths are going to connect or what exactly is going to happen, but with the exclusion of this tower, all the towers are partially complete. I think I want to make this something epic, so if you have a good idea for that, go ahead. I'm thinking like enormous dam waterfall sort of complex, because this tower and this mountain end up being like 10 blocks below the height limit. Like, look at my Y coordinate. I mean, this is kind of insane. Excuse me, kind of insane. And then the rest of the wall leads around here, drops down several levels. Obviously, this wall is incomplete and will eventually be very high all the way around, but whatever. Incomplete tower. And we're back at the quarry. Also not quite sure what to do with this gap here. And then the other thing that I did was I cleared all this land flattened out here, did a little bit of other terraforming around, nothing major. And I'm beginning to map out where areas will be. So this will be where all my farms will be. I don't really need any farms since I have the exchange, but these are just for show. I want to have a reed farm here, and then a melon pumpkin farm here, or maybe pumpkin melon, I don't really care, and then wheat here. And I think that I'll put something else on this side of the building, maybe with a lot of glass looking into the farm, some stairs. I don't really know. My storage complex, which will be my next design, will be over here. That wall, I wanted to encase this whole thing, but then I got bored, and I might take it down, or I might work on it later, or whatever. Anyway, this will lead down into the storage complex. It's just stairs that end right there for right now. But eventually, I plan on having a really epic storage room. That's my next project, because I need to have better item management than I have been having. And over here you have the animals pins, which will again just be for show. I don't need the items, but so I'm just going to have all the pins are of equal depth, but the one on the bottom can obviously stretch out. So I think I'll probably just put colored sheep in the bottom here, and then the other animals up here. Not exactly sure, but honestly it's just kind of a for show thing, so whatever looks best I'll go for. But I haven't actually worked on those very much, obviously, just mapped out where they should be. Haven't lured animals over there or anything. And I guess that is the extent of what I've done off camera. I know that it's a lot of work, but it's not really interesting sort of things. Like, I felt like I could just show it to you and then you kind of understand what I did. It's just a lot of block placing, really. I used the exchange to buy all these blocks. I'm not exactly sure how I feel about this wood effect. It might end up being everywhere. It might end up being nowhere. I am definitely going to remove a lot of this natural stuff, though. Like, as much as I like the natural mountain, eventually it will all probably become encased in the white stone. And, I mean, I'll hollow it out and use it for rooms and stuff like that. But there'll be very few, like, just natural areas. I'm not sure. I might fill this lake. I know that sounds terrible because a lot of the draw of building here was this lake, and I need the water power. But I don't know. I mean, I can reshape the terrain pretty grandiosely, so I'm not going to bother limiting myself by what's naturally around me. It is a great place to build, though. I'm really glad that I settled here. It's a nice environment. And that aside, is that really a natural cave? That looks very... I mean, that block tells me that it isn't, but it looks very 3x3, which would be drilled by the destruction catalyst. Yeah, just a natural little pass-through. That's funny. Alright. Oh, Viz Crystal. It'll just be the normal type, though. So I think... I don't really have enough time this episode to cover it, but I think I'm going to go ahead and try. We got this. So one item you might have noticed in my inventory is the handsaw, which is opening slowly. There we go, handsaw. This is a diamond handsaw. And the way that you would make this, if you imagine that this 3x3 is your crafting grid, I won't make another because I have no need, but stick, 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 iron, iron, diamond, diamond. So you just make the handle, and then the iron base, and the diamond blade. You can also use gemstones, but just use diamond, come on. So what this does is cut blocks, which sounds kind of bizarre, but I'm going to go ahead and show you how it works. First I'll go ahead and show you some things that I built using this. The only one that I'm actually going to keep is this bridge. So this bridge, as you can see, uses very fine blocks. Each of these, like this strut here, this flat piece here, this strut, this flat piece, all the roof, is a separate entity, and I can place those freely. You can see some other things that I built with it around here. Here you have a very simple chair. You can walk into it. It's kind of finicky. There we go. So, very simple chair, slightly more complicated one right here. So if you get really excited about using stairs as chairs, you can make better ones now. This is just showing off that you can place blocks in the middle, and with the narrowest ones you can get these like boxy effects going on. Here's just an example of the box. And finally in here I have showing off the corners of varying sizes. So the way this all works is you take a block which you can cut. I think you can cut dirt. And if not, I know that I have like glass which you can cut on me. Let's just use a plank. That's what most of these buildings are out of. So, to begin cutting, you just put them both in the crafting with the blade on top. And that'll cut it into slabs. And I'm going to go ahead and do that and then show off the interface. So it actually has this really cool interface where it shows you all the possible sides, and it takes a bit of learning to figure out how you can choose all the different sides, but once you get it down, it's pretty easy to place them. So now that it's cut, I can either do the vertical configuration again to thin it out again, so I'll cut it into panels and then covers, which are the thinnest. And the covers, you can probably tell, are really thin, so they're actually an interesting possibility for like covering your walls in or whatever. If you need to slightly shrink a room but want to leave the outer wall a different shade or whatever. If you have a one wide wall between rooms but you want to have it be two different colors, just put, you know, one there, one there. And once you've cut it, you can also reform them together into the thicker versions. I'm going to go ahead and make 3, and then combine these two back into slab. Now, if instead of putting it on top, we put it beside it, it will cut it in half, which will give us these. If you put, and that works just the same way as you can cut it into smaller ones. This will cut it into strips which are smaller, and this will cut it into strips which are even smaller still. And once you have them cut into these, if you put them alone in the table, it'll give you pillar, which is different in that this piece you place on the edges like that. So you see all the different possibilities. And if I put it in here and get the pillar instead, you can only place it in the middle, which provides an interesting effect if you want to use it. I mean, like I have a pillar right here, for example. This piece is. And just like all the other stages, you can transform the pillar back, and then if I put both these back in, it'll reform into a slab. But I'm going to do something different, actually. Put them in there with the handsaw. It'll cut you into corners. Corner is not shapeless. It needs to be sideways. And if I was to cut this piece into strips, and then I could cut those strips into small corners, or cut this piece into strips and cut these into the smallest corners. And these things really are quite tiny. But the vast majority of blocks you can do this with. There are some you can't. But most of them you can. And there's a lot of placement lag that's occurring right now, but it isn't normal. Don't expect that from your own experiences. But they allow you to do a lot of really customized building. And for the record, you can cut a lot of blocks that aren't planks. I actually might, yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and switch. Oh, jeez. It's not going to be in global mod settings. No, it's under my R menu. What am I doing? R options enabled. Okay. I don't typically use this, but just to show off all the different things you can cut. I know they're here somewhere. Yeah, there we go. So, we have cobblestone, blah, 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 blah. You have clay, bookshelves, netherrack could be interesting, wood, soul sand, pumpkins, nether brick, all the different wools. And then you also have marble brick, basalt brick, and marble and basalt, the 3 gemstones, rubber wood. And, oh, one thing that I didn't show. I'm going to need a lot more of these, actually. Can I cut? I guess I can't cut dirt. I don't think I can. No, I can't. Sweet. Okay. It's going to be really ugly, but I'm going to do it. If you take... Needed crafting. Okay. If you take these, any of the flat resources, any size of them, and arrange them... Oh, damn. I guess I'm just totally wrong. I used to know how to do this recipe. Anyway, it's not a very useful recipe. It's mostly used for jacketing cables, but you can make these things. And if they interest you, you can look them up. I honestly don't ever use them for anything. Just going to be honest. But if you have a use for them, for whatever reason, then you can go and check that out. Maybe it's strips? Could have sworn that I have that right, but eh. Okay, I won't embarrass myself any further. It does make a dirt block, which is kind of funny, but... Clearly I've forgotten that recipe, but again, I don't really use these. You can also cut glass, which I've always thought was kind of bizarre, but... Anyway, and you can make them at different thicknesses, and you can, like, cut polished stone cover slabs, and it's a very flexible system, so it's worth learning, just to really, like, here's a pillar or strip, I guess, just to spice up your building a little bit. So, like, I think that bridge is way cooler than anything that you could have built in vanilla with just, like, normal planks and maybe half steps and stairs and stuff. So if you're a interior design sort of builder, this sort of thing should drive you crazy. And I can't seem to get... There we go. Jeez. I think that's it for this episode. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I know that it was a lot of disparate things, but hopefully they came together pretty coolly. Go ahead and leave me some feedback what you thought about this, and in the next episode, we're going to do some more eclectic hunting. Going to try and find some items that I want to get that I don't have yet, so... no, actually, tell you what, forget that. Next episode, Thaumcraft. I've been putting it off for too long, so let's talk about Thaumcraft next episode. Hope to see you guys here, hope you all enjoyed, and adios.